Look, so what's up? What's up? What's
That
up?
was cool.
You're not supposed to acknowledge it, Gary.
Why not?
I mean, you're just supposed to just be smooth and like start the show.
No, we'll do that next week.
How's it going, Gary?
It's going all right. I've been quietly running by myself while you guys are all gallivanting around Chicago and Detroit and
I mean,
various other major cities.
I mean, what do you want us to do about it? I mean, what do you want us to do? You want us to not be amazing and not be cool because, you know,
No,
you
I
just got.
just had to get injured.
Yeah, I mean, it's not my fault. It's not my fault.
Mm.
You know whose injury was somebody's fault?
Owens.
My injury in 2020 was 100% your fault.
Worth it.
When you dropped your kid off, did he have one or two eyes? I wasn't sure. You never heard that? Kevin Hart was like, when you dropped your son off, did he had both eyes? Did he have both eyys when you
No, I
dropped him off?
haven't seen that one.
Like just to check, making sure. If you only have one, that's good because that's all you got right now. But yeah, man. No Aaron today. Aaron is talking about gallivanting.
Right.
Aaron is gallivanting the streets of Detroit. If you don't know, Detroit Free Press happened today. We run 3 who Aaron is a big part of, had a very large week. They had a run on Tuesday, which is normal. But they did something special for that. Then they did a 5K, 10K, which they did something kind of special for that too. They had a party on Friday, like a welcoming all the people that come into the city. And then on Saturday, they did a shakeout run, and they did that as a duo with Run for Bruce. And they had like 200 people show up to the shakeout, which is great. And then the Free Press was today, so now they're doing an after party. So
yeah,
he's literally gallivanting and shaking hands, kissing babies, and stuff like that.
Yeah, so a lot of action downtown Detroit this week. Biggest marathon I think they've ever had. It was sold out right away.
Yeah, it sold out early. It's the biggest marathon they've ever had. They had 36,000 total registrants
among the 4 races. Right?
Among the 4 races,
yeah.
Marathon, international half, domestic half, and the 5K.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that counts the kids race.
Well, they have the 1 mile too, but I think probably.
Yeah, but anyway, great weekend for Detroit. But let's rewind a little bit. Is that okay?
Yeah, because I think
welcome to the PR project. Well, welcome to the PR project, episode number 92. Happy to have you all here. We missed you last week. It's just me and Gary. Aaron's gallivanting. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about whatever you guys actually want to talk about. I ran Chicago last weekend, and the Detroit Free Press was today. I posted something on my Instagram that says, hey, if you PR'd or know somebody that also PR'd at any race, not just Chicago and Detroit, tap in, let us know. A bunch of people have been doing that, so I'm going to give some shout outs on a little bit for PRs. And so if you PR'd and you haven't said anything on my chat or on my Instagram story, actually don't even do this to me. Just go to your Instagram story or just leave it in the chat. If you haven't said anything on my Instagram story, I'm not going to say, stop watching us. Go over. No, don't do that. Keep watching us. Go over, but then drop it in the comment if you PR today, if you have not already said that in my Instagram story.
Right, and it doesn't have to be a marathon. If you ran the half,
the
halves, the 5K this weekend, Grand Rapids Marathon was also today. So if you ran that,
hey, hold on. So Allison Staples jumped in. Do course PRs count?
Sure.
I mean, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't seem to.
We're excited that you have.
We're excited that you're excited.
Yes, you've improved on a course that we've run before. Good for you. That's awesome.
Good for
Fantastic.
you. Good for you.
We agree.
Good for you. All right. So what are we gonna talk about first, Gary? You want to answer? Yeah, let's get some questions rolling. Let's just start off hot here. Allison is live in the chat. Apparently, she got. When somebody gets a PR is when they like start talking a lot in the chat. You know,
Yeah. Yep.
it's like as soon as they PR, it's like let's talk. I want to talk. All this stuff. But I appreciate that right now. I appreciate that. So we have Allison's in the chat. She said, "Can we talk about how crowded races are getting?"
So, are you saying, Allison, that you don't like the current running boom and you need people to go back to doing nothing but sitting on their couch and watching television rather than getting out and bettering themselves? That's what I'm saying. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, that's what I'm picking up. I'm picking up someone that doesn't want people to be out there, with her. But hey, that's fine. I mean, I guess if you want that, you're gonna look at it that way, then I mean, that to each his own. I think that it's amazing. I think that you know, the more the merrier. I think that the bigger the running boom is, the better some of these other races. Like, look what we just saw in Detroit. There's just more races to be. There's more races, more runners to run more races. So that's great. The world majors are the world majors are definitely peaking. I
Yeah,
think
I agree with that for
uh,
sure.
Chicago had 52,000 starters, finishers, 52,000 finishers, which is amazing. The record right now is 54,280, 54,280, and that was set in Berlin. And New York will beat those two for sure. So they're going to take their record back. But I think that it's like, okay, hold on. The problem with smaller, crowded races are no corrals, no pace groups, more people to weave around who start walking. Now, I think that may I don't know if that's an attendance or registrant or participant problem. I think
Right.
that may be more on the race not being prepared. No shade to the race, but like as these races grow, I think they just have to be ready for what's next. Just because it was a smaller race last year, and all of a sudden you start getting more people involved, and you get these numbers. I think you just have to maybe pull somebody in that's been around it a little bit longer, or just look at it differently and say, okay, like we're taking this was at this level race, but now it's at this level. So we have to kind of meet that there. So it's like um it was like Arnie said, Chicago was definitely crowded, a great crowd, but crowded. So I think it can be done well. I think that it's in certain paces. And we have a luxury if you're running 7-minute pacing faster. I think we we have we have an advantage in this
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
once you get to a certain point, it's things stretch out a bit, and then we're kind of like we're in that set. But then if you're talking about somebody that's running more like a 3:30 or higher or 4 hours or whatever, that I think that's when you start getting more of the crowds. Like if you go to Ben Johnson's page, uh, Ben apparently is a engineer, and he went through and like, have you seen what he posted
No, I haven't.
lately? So like for Berlin, and he just did it for Chicago. It's like um he takes the like the all the finishers, and then does like all these bands for each of the paces or the finish times, and shows like where the most of the crowds were. Like how many finishers finished around 3:30, 3:35, 3:40, 3:45. Like, and you could see like around that 2:30, 2:45 and all that, like it's just fewer people per minute. Like he has it down
Mm,
like to per minute. How many people are passing a certain mile marker at this time. So it's definitely as the pace slows, that's where the crowds really are. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Um, but
See
I just
Alexis here. She talks about, the you going back to the race organizer, not checking corral placement once like the
Mhm.
7 minute, pacers, like you said, are gone, or like they're already A, I think they do check probably A and B corrals. a lot more stringent than they would CD and the rest of the alphabet. I'm guessing. I don't know how it was in Chicago, but I assume they're like just whatever at this point.
Yeah.
But not being again
Yeah.
a bit more privileged, not have to be back there. I'm not sure how that
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
works.
know because I don't know because like I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they do it and what they. I don't. I hope to. I don't ever want to race. I don't think, but especially not a marathon. To have to run it and be in charge of that. But I mean, I saw people in Berlin and Chicago that like I was passing that mile. I'm gonna be real. I didn't even do it on purpose. Um, I accidentally ended up in corral A when I had a B. Um, didn't do it on purpose. I just you ever closed your eyes and then like opened them and then you were somewhere else?
Like in a dream or on an airplane.
I'm talking about sure. I don't know. Yeah, that's good. That's a good one. No, I mean like I closed my eyes, I woke up like a couple seconds later and I was in corral A. I don't know how it happened, whatever. But I'm like mile 5 in and I'm still passing people that were in A and I was in B. So I don't know how they're doing this whole thing and I don't know how it works out. But I think that
I
the
think some of it's an honor system too, depending on the race. It's an honor
honor
system.
system.
Like you
Oh,
say,
like what your
I
numbers
plan
are.
on running X like
Oh,
250.
I'm running 230
Right.
for sure. Yeah.
And you have to put that in so much farther ahead of time. So like let's say you're training for a 250. You know damn well, hey, hey, shh,
Yeah.
come race time, you're you're not at 250 shape, but you still got the A corral. You're not
Yeah.
losing. You're not gonna like, well, I'll just go back to B. You're keeping
Oh,
that.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah.
You're
Yeah, I
keeping
don't
that
know.
A standard.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But I think that I like the boom. I like that it's busy. I think that next year, I think things will settle out. Maybe you know, races will be ready. Like okay, well last year it got a little crazy. Just I think we should just provide feedback as runners. Races are going to be more crowded. I think we should just provide good feedback. If you're not happy about it, say something. Try to make sure it's a helpful share. And
Yeah,
then I think that like things will settle out. And to be to real, some organizations or some races probably just aren't all. Maybe they're just not built for that, and they don't want to be built for that. So then next time you sign up, you just don't sign up for that one. You know.
right,
You
right.
know.
And if you've already done the major,
Yeah.
do something
Yeah.
else.
Yeah. 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 All right. So what else? What other questions we have today? Before we get, because I'd love to get to the PRs, and then we can start talking about like my Chicago race, and we can talk about the experience, say downtown Detroit. But yeah, if you have any questions or if you want to like any topics, drop them right now. Because I'd love to chat about random stuff. Thank you so much, Allison, for kicking that part off because we love to talk about random stuff. Ask us anything. But Gary,
Yo,
while we're waiting on these questions that people are just gonna are just have been dying to ask us before we get to the PRs. Um, you have been on this train in this like road to recovery.
yeah.
Um, what are you? How are you feeling? Um, I feel like I have some thoughts about your training, and I'm gonna take it up with your coach.
I'm physically, I'm pretty good. I'm probably about 99% there in terms of my leg. But I'm getting in good workouts, hitting on my splits like I'm supposed to
Mhm,
be, which is great. But I was actually thinking about this today. It's kind of been interesting being on this side of the schedule because
mhm,
you all been getting multiple marathons or at least trained for one marathon. Like everybody we work with, we run with, at least
mhm.
trained for and or ran at least one marathon this fall. And
Yeah,
I didn't run any races whatsoever because I've been dealing with this injury. It's been fun kind of watching you all train and picking up little pieces of like information or learning things like we all really got into carrying a bottle with us.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah,
we all got into we always get into the same discussions about training, but it always evolves. Like, what did we
yeah.
learn from the last marathon to this marathon? And it's kind of fun just watching everything from my angle as you guys progress through this whole session. Everybody's going for PR. It wasn't like we're training just a fun run. We're training to train. We're training to get into this for real.
Mhm.
It's been
It's a
super
PR
motivating.
project. You know what I'm
It is the
saying?
PR project, right? But even everybody who's not on the PR project is still really motivated to get after it, and it's been motivating for me knowing that I've got a spring marathon to get
Mm.
ready for here in the next few weeks. It's just been it's been an interesting perspective for sure.
Okay. Okay. And have you decided publicly what this race will be in the spring?
I believe, yes, I think if everything goes the way we think it's going to go, it's my third trip back to Eugene.
Okay. All
So
right.
yeah,
Third time is a charm.
yeah,
Um, yeah, no, I think you're doing. I feel like some of our, you're talking about like we're all training to go try to PR in Berlin and Chicago and all of that stuff, and Detroit. I feel like I could see you're getting anxious to like run fast.
yeah,
Like she would like your coach would give you, or Melissa would give you like a number, and then you'd like crush the numbers. And I'm like, bro, like you got so long to go. I mean, I know you want to get back fit and feeling great again, but it's like you literally have like 6 months.
yeah, yeah.
6
Isn't that
months is a
weird?
long time to be fit.
It
You
really
know,
is.
it's a long time to be fit, bro.
But
Um,
I also have like a couple months here. Like I'm going to do the turkey trot, and the goal is to get after it at the
yeah,
turkey trot.
yeah.
And if that goes well, then jump into some December races before training really begins around January. Like so I have.
Is that what you would you say is that's a good I was gonna say, like, is that you think that's a good tip for someone that's like, hey, let's just say I ran a fall marathon. It didn't necessarily go like I wanted it to. I'm already signed up for. I have a race in the spring on the docket. Um, do you think that's a good way to go about it instead of just like focusing on the marathon training block next and kind of breaking it up and like picking like a end of the year race, shorter distance, totally not even aligned with a marathon? Like, would you suggest doing something like that?
Yeah, have some fun. Break it
Mm,
up a little bit. It's I think taking this break off the marathon for not doing the marathon. I was planning on doing it anyway. I was going to do a half marathon this cycle
mhm.
anyway.
Yeah,
Um, I think it's okay to focus on other race distances. The other
yeah.
thing, for me, this will also be like a good fitness test. Like where am I at heading into Eugene? It will help me decide, goals and paces and training, and work with my coach, our coach, on this.
Mhm.
And but definitely, if you have like this break, even if the marathon went great, like I did in 2021, I PR'd in Boston, and then I PR'd again at end of the year in a 5K. So just have some fun while you can. You know.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of what like the whole summer speed was too. Like you can do winter speed technically. It's like um anything to like change things up a bit because just going from one training block. Somebody asked me, it was a guy who was like, hey, or he had a race coming up in the spring, and he was like, he wants to qualify for Boston, so he's gonna do 2 Boston blocks from now till then. Like you do one, end it, start the next one. And
Mm,
I'm like, no,
yeah.
no. Like, just be ready for your training block. Like whether that's easy mileage and you just want to run some easy 30, 40 mile weeks, just chill, no
Right.
intervals, no workouts, just be out there and be ready. Or you can train for something a little different, still get the miles in and have some fun with the speed.
I do. I do. I think, yeah, I think you're right, because if you do those back to back blocks, you come into a real danger of
Hmm.
beginning to hate running. Just
Yeah.
you got to take that time to almost like fall back in love with the process of just getting some miles in. You know, I mean, I will never do it, but like turning your watch off,
Hmm.
and
I will
just
never,
you know,
never. Uh,
you know, Strava's a hell of a drug. And just enjoy it. Just get out there and just enjoy enjoy it.
yeah. Yeah, no, no, for sure, for sure. All right. So Allison asked, what read it.
It says, Gary, what exactly is your injury? I'm Gary. For those on the on the podcast, listening to the podcast, I had piriformis syndrome. So it's a
Sorry to
muscle.
hear that.
Yeah, see if I can get through this without you saying pause. It's a muscle deep in the glute that what touches the sciatic nerve, and that it shoots a pain from the hip all the way down to the hamstring. It's in the sciatic nerve's the longest, nerve or the biggest nerve in your body. So it's me working on strength training to lift that
I mean,
muscle
you're
back
doing
off
a
the glute.
lot. You're doing a lot of talking. Mark just sums it up. It's a butt injury. Just, I
It's
mean,
it's more than that, Mark. It's more than that.
is it? Is it?
I
I
just
mean, you
explained
just
it to you.
you just said a lot of words for butt injury.
I don't want to say sciatica because I'm close to 50 and that's an old man.
the
It's an old man injury. It's an overuse injury, but I just sound like an old man when I say
name
I got
the, na-
sciatica.
the name of this podcast episode is Gary's butt hurt.
No,
No? Okay, fine. All right, next question. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, Gary, for your performance butt injury.
I think
Um,
a friend of ours is dealing with the same thing right now.
yeah. Earn is super
Well,
butt hurt. uh, um, Mark Vanderkoy says, have either of you ever done a lab-based lactate threshold test? I
yes,
have
our
not.
friend.
I want to. I
Yeah,
want
for
to. It
sure.
sounds terrible, but it sounds amazing.
Like they hook you up with like the breathing tube and all the electrodes
Oh,
and
put the
on a
mask on
treadmill.
me, bro. Imagine being like it's like being Bane for Halloween on a treadmill. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would totally
Yeah.
do it though. I've never done it,
Yeah.
but for sure.
Yeah. I want to like.
Do you know anybody, Mark, that could do it for
Wait,
us?
no. Wait, is that lactate threshold? Is that lactate when they do the mask, or is that
I hear lab based. I just
VO2
assume they're
max?
math.
That's VO2 max or whatever, right?
It
Lactate threshold test is
could be
like
both.
both, and then they prick your finger for blood.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
funny.
Oh, he's like, no, never mind.
Mm.
Um, Allison said, I'm excited for your turkey trot. Oh, your turkey trot. I would love to see more people talk about 5K training. The spread to get faster is much smaller. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
I mean, that was really the summer speed for a lot of
yeah,
folk.
I don't know where Allison been at. Like we literally just did a whole. I mean, I think she just ran a race in some Pumas. Like that's literally summer speed, Allison. Like I'd like to see people.
But with that
Sorry,
being said, yeah, it's fun to
it's
be
late. I'm
focusing on.
sorry. I had Urban Mate today. I'm sorry. I can't help
Did
it.
you really?
I had two.
Oh man,
This podcast is not sponsored by Yerba Mate, but we are open to it. Um, how has your fueling? Malik says, "How has your fueling changed when running marathons over the years?" Go ahead, Gary.
I mean, the last two marathons I ran were the first time I ever ran with a bottle. I had the Morton's, what's it, 360, the whatever
Mm-hmm.
the yeah, Morton's
320.
320.
So
And I
do you
still
also call it like Targets or Kmart's or like Kroger's?
I said the Facebooks. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't
So
say I don't. But I say Meyer for sure. I don't put that
Myers.
F
You don't
in it.
say Myers?
No,
Okay. I was just wondering why you're saying Morton's, but go ahead.
is it not Morton's? Is oh,
It's literally. I was just asking. I'm not trying to like stop your story.
really,
I was
really
just
try not
asking.
to really try not to call you so hero. But anyway,
Shit, wow, that's a good bleep. Go ahead.
I know because I saw your mom out here, so I got to be nice. Um,
Yeah, don't get in
but
trouble.
so the last two marathons I ran with a bottle with the Morton and the Morton gels. I think we've been playing around with different ones. I think Scratch we've been playing around with a
Yeah,
little bit
yeah.
this fall. In fact, I had a bottle with me today. I had the 7 scoops and a scoop and then a thing of liquid IV for my
Mm,
14 miles today. And I noticed
yeah.
I was still like super salty afterwards. So I realized, okay, you got one bottle and you got this liquid IV in here, still stuff to did someone say my name? Um,
Ha!
so I still have to play around with that.
Wait. Is he talking about Is he talking about Morton Salt? Aaron Morton said, "Did someone say my name?" Is he talking about the Morton Salt or the Morton, drinks? I don't know.
I think that's how you spell the salt, right there.
That's certainly how you spell the salt.
Yeah. But anyway,
So
I was saying I noticed I was still had super salty afterwards on my skin, my head.
I think you will. But yeah, so that was my thought. I think you will be regardless. If you're a salty sweater, you're a salty sweater. It's just, did you put it back in? Like if you take a lot of sodium, it's not like you're not going to sweat salty. It's just if you sweat salty, right? And then you like look back at your race and you didn't take any sodium, you're like, wow, I need to refill here. You're still gonna sweat salty.
Well, maybe I've heard two different people talk about this after marathons. One was Luke a couple years ago, Luke Humphrey, watching people coming at the Boston Marathon and how salty they were, and he
Mhm,
said those people didn't hydrate well enough. And then I think Heather Feathers, Megan Featherston, said to you at last year's Boston, because you were super salty coming
mhm,
in at the end of the race, and she
mhm.
noticed that. So I got to think that if you hydrate well enough, you're not going to sweat salty like that.
I think that well, from what I don't know though. So I'm just saying, from what she told when her words to me weren't like she
You're
saw that
gross.
I was she saw that ew. She saw that I she saw that I was struggling and then also saw like all the salt. Like I wonder if he took sodium. You know? Like
Mm.
it wasn't like, oh, he's not hydrating. But it's like you're struggling and you are full of salt. So the assumption would be you didn't, you know what I mean?
No, I know what you think. I know
If
what
you
you're
ran the
thinking.
race, if you ran the race of your life and you were salty still, it's like it is what it is. No cramps, no nothing. He just ran well. You just a salty sweater. We can look it up. We got you know, you
Yeah,
might
I
be
think it.
right.
Huh? Do I think
You
I
might
might
be
be
right.
right?
I'm not.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying that you might. Wait, what? All right, let's change the subject. I don't know what kind of. I don't know what you've been. I think you might still have some liquid IV coursing through your veins, and I don't know what it's doing to you. But yeah, we got to figure that out. Honestly, like, because that would be
Yeah.
nice to know. Like, do you not sweat salt just because you're hydrating, or are you just a salty sweater?
And if you do sweat salt because you're not hydrated, I mean, there's plenty of time for me anyway to tinker around with what I'm putting
Hmm.
in the bottle.
Yeah. So yeah, for me, I started off with Morton, and then I went to UCAN, and then lately, and I still use UCAN when I'm taking fuel because like that's the in a race, especially later in the race. I've always had like for the last like 3 years, I've had issues keeping some stuff down,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I can't take Morton after I've been out there for a minute. I just can't. Like the thought of me like opening a Morton gel like while running will make me like, almost sick, just the thinking about it, which is not, like, Morton's fault, it's just something about me, and it's just not it
No,
just
it's
doesn't go well.
definitely, yeah, it's definitely a different texture that you've really got to train
Well,
for sure.
it's not
Especially
even
late in
that,
the
like
run. Like if you're doing a 20-mile run,
mhm,
you got to really train to make even at the end of like let's
yeah,
say you're
just
supposed to
at the
go
end
on.
of it, like mile 19, just take it, yeah,
Yeah,
and I'm not even the texture it's not even the texture thing, it's just, like it's not the taste or the texture, it's just something that it's just something about it, you know? And
because
then
I think
I'll
but more
take
is more like a food because it's so it's I mean,
what was your
UCAN is very thin
Mhm.
and
And what is
like a
Morton?
yogurt is thicker and it's more like a food. You
Yeah.
know, it doesn't it's not as smooth as UCAN or other gels.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So and the
yeah,
thought of
but
like having I can't like people like pass bananas in a race or get a banana in a race or
I
dates or
almost thought
whatever.
about it.
I
I'm
can't do it.
I I thought about it in Chicago because 'cause I'm like, "Man, maybe I need it." But so I went from that, and then so when I need to take a gel later in the race or after, like, halfway or whatever, UCAN is the way to go for me because I can take that and have no issue. Like, it's just easy on my stomach, it is what it is, right? But this last time, actually last 2 times, I took a bottle and had Scratch high carb in
Mhm.
it because if you do the high carb and then after I end up cramping in Berlin and then in Chicago beforehand I ended up having a meeting with a Scratch like dietitian that works for Scratch and we figured out like hey like if you do the high carb dosage like 7 scoops or whatever it is and then you also have like 1 scoop of their like just normal electrolyte mix one
Mhm.
scoop one small scoop that's more sodium and carbs than you need for an hour and like 20 minutes or an hour and a half. So the goal was to like do 2 bottles because I can drink while I'm running, no issue.
Yeah.
Um, and so, but I think what my problem in Chicago was is that I didn't train. I trained with 1 bottle. Like we do 1 bottle in 10 miles, 12 miles, whatever, 13, 14, whatever. But I never trained for like two. So having a second bottle was a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Having a second bottle was too much. But you
Did
have
you
to
do
not too
sorry,
much.
let me ask you this, did you do any other, like, did you grab a cup of water,
No.
Gatorade?
I did after I decided I couldn't do the bottle anymore. I tossed the bottle.
Okay.
I
But
knew I
not when you
needed to
had the
do
bottle, like,
something.
not yeah,
No,
yeah, okay, okay.
no. Like if I had
But
the
you were
bottle, it was almost no point in doing,
right, well, I didn't
unless I
know,
just
like, between bottles or something like that where you just got
yeah. No,
you kept
no,
drinking
I
even though
didn't.
you didn't have the okay.
No, and I got handled the second bottle at mile like 13 and a half, and I wish I had just held off or I had it maybe at mile 16 just to have like some time without a bottle. And I think I was over having a bottle in my hand too.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
I tossed it at mile like 11, got another one back at like mile 13, and it was just like and the pros are lucky. They get to are blessed and they deserve it, whatever. But they get like these small bottles and they drink it in like 10 seconds, and they toss it.
yeah,
And they get another one in, 3, 4 miles, whatever. So us, we have to carry a bottle in our hand. It's full when you start. Your arm, you're just over it by then.
yeah, no,
Anyway, but
I did my wrong one today, and I was over it by mile 10. Yeah,
yeah, so
I didn't want it
Alexis,
anymore.
the fourth member of the show tapped in. I don't think you can control the amount of salt you lose in your sweat.
But see, the key word is I don't think she doesn't know.
Golly, she don't know. She don't know. She don't
Lawyered.
know. All right. So yeah, Patrick. Oh, Patrick. So quick story about Patrick. Patrick said, I take in Gatorade at almost all drink stations. Only do water once or twice. Um, yeah.
That's
So
amazing. That's because I tried doing that in a marathon a few years back, and especially the Gatorade
mm,
because and my stomach got nauseous from having all that almost like all that sugar from the Gatorade. I just start going every other station. Water,
yeah,
Gatorade, water, Gatorade.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. I heard I like hardly ever grab Gatorade just because I'm never good with the cups, and if I spill Gatorade on my face and like I think it's all on my neck and stuff like that, then I gotta deal with like
Sticky neck.
I just gotta deal. Yeah, sticky. You don't want to deal with sticky neck. you know, you don't want to deal with sticky neck. Um, Alexa says she's 99% sure, so 99.9.
Okay.
I mean it's pretty high. I mean, I don't know what else you want from the lady, but back to Patrick. Patrick's got a. I'm clicking every button I have on here so far. Back to Patrick. I saw Patrick at the end of Chicago. I'll do my Chicago story in a minute. Um, saw Patrick at the end of Chicago. He was standing in those like front of those like Chicago banner thingies where you take a picture like after the race. And he said, "What up?" Because like you've followed on Instagram, and he got a 6-star medal, and he also got a PR in Chicago. So congrats to Patrick.
Way to go, Patrick.
Yeah,
Good work.
yeah. So yeah, congrats to Patrick. Thank you so much for tapping in and always supporting the vibes. But we might as well while we're here on PRs. Congrats to Patrick for the PR today or PR in Chicago. And then let's just go through the list here, right? We got Malik Jordan. Malik Jordan got a PR.
Big
Um,
PR.
a big PR. So Malik's PR was like 251 and some change. He ran a 247 and some change today. Big shout out to Malik on his PR. Bree Chamberlain finally broke 330 at Chicago with a 318. Finally broke 330, went straight down to 318.
Damn.
Teammates took seventh, and in Detroit, third at the half for her teammates. Um, Kaylee Oakland says Aaliyah Russell, my best friend, PR'd in the Detroit International Half. By John said PR'd in Detroit. Your city knows how to put a show. Big shout out to Detroit. Today was amazing. Paisley Landry says that my buddy Carlos, run coach CP, got sub 3 in Chicago. And Lisa Schmitz ran a PR today. And then Gustavo Roman ran a 238 PR in the Detroit Free Press. Big time, big time, big time. Then we have a J.Y. Bowden ran a 5-minute PR in Chicago. Tony ran a 231 PR today. I'm not sure where though. And another PR for Jay Disney. He ran a PR 3:57:54, courtesy of Robbie Raccoon. I
Oh
think
yeah.
yeah, Robbie pays some people in Chicago, so he got a PR out of that. Chris Fuke PR'd with a 2:56:10. Chatted up with Aaron around the 10K mark at Chicago last week. So that's dope, dope, dope.
I think
And then
here in the
Patrick,
chat, you got some in the chat too. I think
okay,
Arnie.
you do those in a second.
Yeah.
Patrick got his PR and also got a 6-star medal, so shout out to him. And then the homie Jared Butler ran Twin Cities Marathon what, a week ago or 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago. It was a
Two. Yeah.
23-minute PR and a 2:57 and some change.
That's fantastic.
All right, you got the PRs in the chat.
Yeah. I don't. I don't think he's on the chat here, but Aaron's brother
Jared,
PR today. Jared.
is that a PR?
I
Sweet.
yeah, I believe it was. He 129 and a half today in Detroit. I think that's a PR for him. So congrats to him. Um, Arnie Chambers, 304 in Chicago.
Mm.
Fantastic. Congrats, Arnie. And now
We
let's
need a
start.
bell, bro. We need a bell.
Yeah. Or like a
We That's it
ding.
for now. We got Steve McCullough, 2-minute PB for me in the Detroit Half Marathon today. Finally broke 2 hours after chasing it for 2 years. 2-minute
Congrats.
PB, broke 2 hours, chasing it for 2 years. Angel numbers or something like that, right? 222. If we
I've
missed
never heard
you,
that.
bump it up down to the bottom again. But
Yeah,
so
the
many
chat,
PRs, so
lots,
many
lots going
PRs.
on in the chat today. So yeah, definitely for sure.
Definitely for sure. So many PRs. Um, congrats, congrats to everybody. All right, Chicago Marathon time.
Yeah, let's talk
All
about
right,
it.
Chicago Marathon. So I did not PR. I went for a PR in Berlin. And then got to felt like a week after Berlin. I'm like, Berlin and Chicago are 2 weeks apart. Felt really, as we talked about it, I felt really great. Felt
Yep.
amazing, ready to go. Project Send It. Ready for Chicago. Maybe I need to stop naming stuff and just run. I don't know, but Project Project Send It was I was excited, ready to go. I'm like, you know what? I know it's gonna be really tough. I've done marathons back to back before. Actually, they were closer before when I did them, or farther apart. Either they were 7 days or 4 weeks.
But
The
you've
first
done
one I
Berlin,
had.
Chicago before, haven't you?
No,
No,
no.
that was Erie, Chicago, wasn't it?
Erie, Chicago, and that
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah, yeah,
four
yeah,
weeks.
yeah.
So I did. So I thought I felt great, and start off the race mildly conservative. I was gonna lock in at like 6:15 pace, because I felt like I think maybe my mistake in Berlin was trying to push to get to a certain pace. Like let me just stay here, stay to 6:15. I was gonna try to ride that train all the way to the end, and then try to negative split at the end if I could. If not, I would have just hovered at that pace, right? 5-6 miles in, that whole oh my gosh, my legs feel amazing. Project Send It was quickly out the window. Like I never like it was might have been mile 4 actually, where I just never felt how you just feel like your legs are just flat. There's no like bounce to them. You can't even I felt like I had on Alpha Fly threes, and I've run in those many times, and those are fast shoes. I felt like I had on like flip-flops. Like just nothing was happening. I had no energy, no juice, no nothing. So I just like tried to stay there as long as possible. I was telling people, like when do you normally, Gary, if you're having maybe not, obviously not the best day of your life, but let's
Mhm.
just say you're having a race, you're in a marathon, and then when would you start normally kind of like negotiating with yourself? Like what mile point would you be like, if you started negotiating at this mile point, where would you be like, that's okay, I'm supposed to start negotiating now? Where would that be for you?
Typically, it's been around 15, 16.
That's when you normally start negotiating
Yeah, I
on
feel
your
like
good days too.
no, no, my
No,
good
like
days.
like on a decent day, like a
Oh,
normal, like yeah.
that's a good question because I haven't really thought about it in terms of like having a good day.
Yeah.
If I'm having a good
Yeah,
day, I'm having a good day.
you're having a good day.
If I feel like there's been marathons where I feel like I'm riding a tightrope, you
Mm,
know,
the whole time almost?
whole time, and then at
Yeah.
one point I'm like, you know what, it's just not gonna be today, and it's usually around 15 or 16 where I start to go, okay, what other goals do I have? What can I still accomplish here? You know, and which in hindsight, mentally, I should probably be like, just keep going, let's keep riding this as long as we can, this tightrope.
Mhm.
Like I shouldn't negotiate at all really until I'm like
Yeah.
done. But usually it's been around 15, 16.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so mine was at, like, 12, 13, and I was like, if I could just make it to cheer squad, because um, the, Peace Runners in Chicago, and we run 3 on 3, and some other folks were gonna be at mile 16. And so I'm like, you know what? If I could just make it to them, because I want to see Joe and get the whole cheer squad thing. If I could just get to them at this pace, I'll be fine. And then I got there, and then I'm like, okay, well, if Nike, I started like thinking, okay, try to get here, try to get here, try to
Yeah,
get here. It was just one of those days, and I was actually, I finished the race. I finished at 140, 248 and some change. Um, and my goal that day was like 242, 244. You know,
right.
but I finished the race and never I was never, like, bummed, because I was super proud of, like, having stuck it out the way that I did and still end up with a good time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
Because
and it
like,
was a
those
good
days
time
where
because
you
you were
just
only
fight it out.
yeah, I mean you were only a minute or two off your PR, so it wasn't like you were really, it was a really good
Yeah.
race. You know, it wasn't like you
Yeah, no,
ran a,
just,
you know, you still sub three, sub 250, which is what the third or fourth time you've done that.
something like that.
So that's
Second, second, third, second, third,
yeah,
third.
third time coming off
Yeah, no, I
Berlin.
mean,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was never upset about it. It was just like I wished I had a better day, but then at the same time, it's like it is what it is. But Chicago was great. Like, just the whole vibe was really cool. I got to meet and talk to Galen Rupp for a little bit there. He apparently does not sleep in a crowd chamber that I've been talking about this whole time. So sorry, Galen, if you're watching. He just disappears. I mean, I think he goes and spends time with his family. He's got 4 kids. I think
He's
that's what
got
he's
four
supposed to.
kids, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
See?
wow.
So he's not in a chamber. He's at the crib. He's not in the lab somewhere, you know? But the cool thing the cool thing is that he wants to LA LA Marathon, or LA is hosting the next Olympics.
Yeah,
And
I
he
saw
is
this.
determined to run his last Olympics there, so it means he'd have to stay healthy and then run again and then make it to the trials and then get top 3 in trials and
He's
hopefully run in LA.
I would like that for him, if only because the lasting image we have of him in a major event was one of the best violent pictures I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it was,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, as gross as it was, that
Girl says it
fantastic
was.
camera work.
Yeah, and I was really, what I was really upset about today was a letdown, was Jared's throw up moment. Jared PR today, but I caught a great video of him yakking, you know?
Oh.
And it was just, it wasn't, it was, he left something to be like, you know. Yeah. I wanted to,
I think you
bro.
got some more. I think you got some more in there, Jared. Let's let it out.
Yeah, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Somebody didn't somebody needs to drink more, apparently.
Yeah,
But yeah, I'll share the video with you after hours.
sweet.
Uh offline, you know. Uh all right. So yeah, Chicago was really cool. And shout out to everybody out there. It was a great day. Dante PR.
Yes,
Dante
that's
PR in
right.
Chicago. Dante's PR was like 3:26, and she ran 3:15 and
Yeah,
some
and if you
change.
go and look at her splits, they are all the way down the line.
Metronome.
Yeah, yeah. That was really
So
cool.
apparently, and everybody you talked to in Chicago was like, "Oh, it was a tough day, tough day, tough day." And uh, um, who got the world record? What's her name?
Chep and
Was
Gedich.
what? Yes,
Ruth. Yeah.
Ruth Chepngetich. Yeah, Ruth Chepngetich got the lowered the women's marathon world record by like by 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Got a PR for herself by about four, and so there's 209:30 something.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know the exact.
And so apparently Ruth and Dante had a good day in Chicago.
Yeah,
Oh, and Matthew Luke Meyer, he PR'd in a major way too. Matthew Luke Meyer from Boulder,
very
the guy
cool.
with all the tattoos. Yeah, good job, good job,
Yep,
good
I
job.
know.
All right,
Yep, I'm familiar with
we're
him.
moving on from that, and we're gonna talk about what are we talking about, Gary?
You want to
Detroit
talk
Free Press.
about your experience today? Yeah, yeah, because you had a
Okay,
unique one.
yeah. Oh, I had a unique experience.
Yeah,
I want to feel special, so here. I'm gonna give myself the big screen. Today was a day to go down the history books. I had the opportunity to be the master of ceremonies, and apparently I didn't know what MC meant, but MC means master of ceremonies. I was the MC for the award ceremony for the Detroit Free Press elite field. The Detroit Free Press has never had an elite field. Now they do, thanks to Zach Ornelas, who put this whole thing together. He recruited a bunch of people, and his whole concept and idea was that he wanted the like everyday elite-ish type runner to have that elite experience,
mhm,
because like if you're running some of these paces that like won today would not necessarily be able to win on the world stage. But so they run more races like this one. So like why not bring that elite feeling and vibe and energy to like a race that's much more accessible, than like a Chicago marathon. Accessible for everybody. It's just
yeah,
easier to get into, to experience, to be around elites, like stuff like that. So I had the opportunity to MC the award ceremony for that. It was really great. It was right in the middle of the finish line is right on Woodward, and the award ceremony is in the middle of Campus Martius. If you're not familiar with Detroit, Campus Martius is like this nice little cool area right in the center, pretty much of downtown Detroit. Nice like grassy area and all that stuff. They had the stage out there. They had a band that was playing, and I jumped in, did my thing, talked a little bit, said thank you, and announced the winners. And they got first time they've ever had trophies. They normally just get a medal and a big fake check. But this time they got trophies, a jacket, and their medal as well. So big shout out to all those people. Thank you so much to Detroit Free Press Marathon for having me be a part of it, because it was just really cool experience. I got to be there at the start. I actually got to blow the air horn for one of the waves to go, Gary. I know
I
you're
saw that. I saw your
yeah,
story. I was showing that to Megan. I was like, look at this.
it's pretty
He's
cool.
starting the
Pretty
race.
cool. Yeah, I didn't start the first wave, but I started like I think I started the third wave. I think I blew the whistle for like the wave C or something like that, or third wave. But what an amazing day! It was awesome. Um, yeah, it was great. And I don't want to talk about anything negative, but just wanted to give a shout out to, because I was there as well. But big shout out to, or thoughts and prayers go to a gentleman died today in the race
Yeah,
at mile 5 in Canada. Um, I'm not sure exactly what happened, but the 57-year-old gentleman, I think he like fainted over at mile 5 and ended up going to the hospital there where he passed away. But it's just a tough thing to have happen. Normally, like you hear something like that happen in like some of these like really hot races, so they're not really sure what happened there. But it's just it definitely like being around the race, the folks that were the race staff. Everything was so high and everything was great and energy was big, and this is right around the time, I think they got word right around the time that like people were finishing, like the elites were finishing, and
yeah,
then you saw their energy shift like almost immediately, and I didn't know what was going on, and then later I found out that's what they were getting like word of, and having to like figure out what was next. Big shout out to to Detroit Free Press. I mean, they had wildly organized medical staff everywhere. But it just feels odd to talk about that race without talking about that.
yeah,
So I hate to bring it on a low note, but then on a high note too, we know Sydney DeVore, who won the women's marathon race, and her husband, Andy, won the men's marathon race. So they literally won today a couple, a married couple, won the full marathon together. That was actually really cool.
Yeah, in fact,
Um,
if you look at the Free Press, I don't know if it's on their what Facebook, Instagram, whatever the
yeah,
social media is, or even their front page.
yeah,
It's them two in an embrace, which is pretty cool because he stayed and waited for Sydney to cross the finish line. So it was a kind of a cool video and cool photo
yeah,
um,
yeah.
afterwards.
Yeah, so yeah, somebody said, Mark said what was the winning time in Detroit? I think it was 2:17:47. That was not Andy's PR. I think his PR is like 2:15 something. But really, really great race today. I mean, Free Press isn't an necessarily easy marathon. I mean, you got the bridge and you have the tunnel coming back through over from Canada. So
No, and it gets quiet.
yeah, it's really quick.
It gets quiet. And I think if I know some people don't really like the running boom as much as others, but if it continues to grow,
Yeah.
maybe we'll get
Then
more
some of these
bigger,
races won't be as quiet. Yeah.
yeah, bigger crowds, and whatnot. But no, it's not a hard course, but there are points in it where you're like, you need that extra little boost of energy from
Mm,
somebody.
hmm.
So for sure,
Hmm.
it's a good course though,
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
now that Belle Isle's not on it.
Yeah. Belle Isle was the worst part of the course
Yeah.
by far. Like, it's just like where souls go to go
Yeah,
away.
I mean, look, Belle Isle is fun for your family and to do a
Yeah.
whole bunch of other activities, but
Is it? I mean,
yeah,
no hate, no shade to Belle Isle. Belle Isle's great.
but
Belle Isle's good to do the 5K New Year's Eve race. That's it
for racing,
for
yeah,
racing. The 5K.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So what else? What else we got? What else we got? We don't have any runners anonymous to talk about. Um,
No, we haven't done that in a
which is a
while.
bummer. It's a bummer. We
We
did a
are
couple
getting
of
close.
I
We
think.
are getting close to our 100th show. I do have some ideas on that, but if you all got
What,
some
do-
ideas,
what are you allowed to share your ideas with the public, or is that something that you'd like
I
for
think
us to talk about?
let me work with you guys first because I got some
Okay.
thoughts on it. Yeah,
Okay. All right. All right. All right.
but
All
it's
right.
going to be an interactive event, so because
Mm,
we have a real lot of good folks here in the group who in the
mm,
chat who are great at participating. So,
mm,
mm,
mm, mm,
mm.
mm.
So
Yeah, I don't know. I don't.
no races next weekend, right? Oh,
I mean, there's got to be something. What do you mean?
I mean, like you guys aren't going to be
Oh
out of
no, 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 no. I'm doing Chicago. I'm doing New York, but that's in 2 weeks from today.
yeah.
What am I doing, Gary?
You are. I was thinking about that. You're doing all the majors in one, right? In 1 year.
Yeah, 1 year.
You've
Yeah.
already gotten your 6-star medal, right?
So I'm not even getting another 6 star
You're
because
not
I'm not
even getting a
doing
medal
it.
at the end of the end of New York. All you're gonna get in New York is another poncho, a medal, and that long ass walk to 77th Street.
Yeah.
I got you. No, but no, it's gonna be awesome though. I mean,
Oh, sure.
doing more
Yeah.
1 year. Good for you.
Yeah. Thanks so much. I miss Aaron a lot.
What?
I miss I miss Aaron a lot right now.
I don't believe that.
Yeah, I mean, because he wouldn't do this to me. I'm look, I just, I don't like your attitude. Not one bit. Not one bit. But I mean, yeah, because like I keep having to explain it, like, 'cause everybody, oh man, you're getting another 6 star. I'm like, no
No, they
star.
don't do that.
I'm just they
I think
do.
the part of it is
They
they
do.
give you two
They
medals.
do.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
If you get if you so yeah, don't frown up your face like that.
I just
I'm
okay.
what you
It
want?
is
I mean,
weird,
look, is it
kind of,
okay,
isn't it?
Gary? Okay, Gary. Okay, Gary. Next time, you know what? I'm gonna hit up Eugene, and then when you cross the finish
No,
line,
because that's
we're gonna make
different.
sure.
That's
Wait,
different.
no, no,
There's a piece
no,
of history in each one
no,
of those medals. So if I get
no,
enough of them, I can
no.
rebuild the
That
whole stadium.
that I'm not. I don't want to be the one to break it to you, Gary. that wood is not coming from that building anymore. That building is smithereens. You How much wood was in that building?
Yeah, that's why they're little pieces, Tommy.
I mean, no, I believe it. I'm sorry.
Is
I believe
a
it. They
lot.
wouldn't. They wouldn't.
It was a stadium.
Yeah, it was a stadium. It was like old school stadium, like one of those like old school like
Yeah.
wooden roller coasters. Probably so much you could probably build a house 20 houses with that wood.
Here's a good
Uh
question for you.
yeah. Oh, I'll read it. Alexis says, I thought you were gonna
Okay, go
read it
ahead and
for me,
read it.
Gary. Alexis says, "Are you going to be majored out after this year, Tommy?" Um, yeah, I think so. I think so. Honestly, I think so. Um, I do not. I did not re-register. I qualified for Boston. I did not purposely did not register. I'd like to be there. I'd like to see you guys. I'd like to be in the whole thing, major stuff, but I don't necessarily want to have to run. Um, we will be in Eugene
Mhm.
instead of at the same time that London's happening. Uh, I don't plan on going to Japan in February, so no
I think
majors in the
I think
spring.
I think you're in that you think you're in a position now where you've done all the majors. Not only have
Mm.
you've done it, you got your medal, but then you've done it all in a year,
Yeah,
and less
I
like
feel like I can take a break.
right. But now you can focus on like the Houstons and the Indies and the
Valencia,
grandmas and
yeah,
Valencia's. Yeah, just other high profile B level marathons.
mm, yeah.
So
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think I'd like to do Australia. I mean, Sydney.
if that
Just
ever, yeah,
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 yeah, just
once it's
because
up
of
and
it.
official for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, if you do all six again, like if I was to do next year, I've already done most of them more than I've done all of them twice except for London and Tokyo. So if I didn't do this whole six thing that I'm doing, whatever, and I just did London, Tokyo again next year, I get another 6 star.
Huh?
Because there's people that have like 3 6 stars,
Huh?
you know?
I guess I never. I didn't know that. I didn't realize that they would give you just
Yeah, you just run it
another.
just yeah. I mean, consider how much money that you probably spent.
Mm.
Something. Oh, I'm leaving here with something. That type
Just
of vibe. All right, Gary, this question's for you.
now that you're with Gary and I on the plus 40
Oh,
side, what about the
that's
age
for
group
me.
champ?
That's for me again. I just saw old and then I saw Gary, so I thought that was for you, my bad. So it's old and me this
Yeah,
time.
right,
Sorry,
right.
Gary.
Yeah, even Abigail's
What?
like, "What the hell?"
I know. No, it's old and me. I'm getting yelled at now. I have to accept the fact that I'm no longer as young as I once was in my head, you know. In my head I have to realize I'm a master now. So, yeah.
Mm.
Um there's that. So, what are we talking about?
What
Oh,
about age
age
group
group.
champions?
I
Yeah,
don't even know how that works. I'm not even excited about it yet. I think that um no, because I think that my age bracket is probably the most aggressive age bracket there is.
plus there's a time, it's like
I
Boston.
don't even qualify for the
There's a
time. I think it's
qualifying
like
there's a qualifying
2:35.
time. I think what they do is they get as many people as they can who's time qualified, and then they fill it in with other folks. So, like, they'll come back and say, "Well, everybody who applied for the 40 to 44 age group, I've already applied.
Yeah.
So now let's look at your points, look at your past runs, and see if you want to be invited." But even then, you still got to pay for the travel and the
Yeah.
trip, and I don't, So,
You know how people be like, not invited to something and they be like, I don't even want to go to that stupid, bro. And did you get invited? No, 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 no.
yeah,
Like that's me. I don't even want to go. It's dumb. But I can't go. So
yeah,
yeah, yeah. Rose said Mark Vanderkoy says I have to beat Ken right out. I could beat Ken right out in golf probably.
man, he's gonna hear this.
I know.
He's
I
gonna show
know.
up at your door with like one club. I can beat you with
Oh,
one.
I could beat you with one club. Like, no, not like that. Not like that. We're not fighting here.
No, no, no. I'm saying he's gonna show
Um,
up with a 9 iron, or he's gonna like,
he
let's
probably
go.
can. This would be some like sick turn of events where like Ken Rideout would like whoop me on a golf course with a 9 iron for putting for everything. That would
Yeah,
be terrifying. That would be my worst nightmare.
for sure.
Because he's not gonna do it quietly. He's gonna be like literally
No,
Demoralizing, like
he's gonna bring
verbally
a
assaulting me on the golf
whole
course and
time.
talking
Yeah,
back.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. All right, Ken. You, you stay. I don't know. Stay wherever you live. You don't have to come to my door.
This is gonna be the clip for the IG.
The whole yeah. I don't mind that. I don't mind that. So I'll start it over. I'll sound more confident. Oh yeah, I'd easily beat Ken Rideout in golf. Easy.
In a golf.
In a golf. I got nervous. You saw I got nervous. Like I don't even know how to say golf anymore. Oh man. All right. So no challenge, Ken Rideout. I don't have time. I don't get time for your games, Ken. All right. So that's I think we've
I think we
worn out
said it
our
all.
welcome here. I think you said it all. I'm really excited about a few things that we have coming up. We are going back to TRE. We've had some really cool talks with them. If you're going to be at TRE, the running event in Austin, make sure you stop by. We will have our TRE live. If
Yeah.
you were around and you watched TRE live last year, it's going to be that, but cooler, better, more comfortable, more us. It will also be better because Aaron shall be there as well.
Yep.
It's going to be me, Gary, Aaron, and a really new cool set that they're set up for us. They have a cool announcement. The reach will be much more reachy.
And we're gonna have some really cool guests.
The reach will be reaching, and we've already got some really cool guests that'll be coming on the show. I don't know if we can announce them, but they're
I don't think so,
already
but
there.
they're definitely some folks you want to hear from for sure.
Oh, you know who I saw? Random. Nothing. I meant to say this during my Chicago thing. You know who I saw on the course? Super out the blue, random, like at mile 8. Guess. On the side, like watching.
Yeah.
Hint. Went to the Olympics.
Have we talked to him before?
For America, no.
Oh. In running?
Yeah.
I mean, they have more than one sport at the Olympics.
It was LeBron James. Yeah, no, it was running. Close to home.
Marion Jones.
Close to home. For us.
Hobbs?
Yes.
Yeah.
I saw Hobbs Kessler at mile like 8 or 9, randomly on the side, and was just like, "Oh, hey, Hobbs," and he's like, "Oh, hey," and that was it. And it kept going. I didn't stop and get an autograph or anything. I was running, but he's not very fast standing still. Crazy.
Yeah, he said you beat him at the Chicago Marathon. Is what you're saying.
I dropped him like a bad habit, bro. I went past Hobbs Kessler like he was standing still.
Yeah, I'm gonna save this clip for something.
I went past Hobbs Kessler like he was standing still. He didn't have a chance. He might as well have been wearing blue jeans and a jacket zipped up. He might as well have been.
At the 1:02 mark, Tommy Run said this.
Roasted him. Roasted him like a marshmallow. You know what I'm saying? Don't
That's
get
awesome.
me to talking. You know who else I could beat? Probably Paul Chalimo.
Wow. Okay.
I'm
What?
I'm literally one of a kind. You don't know
At
anybody
a golf or a bowl?
I could beat you at a golf, at a run, at a bowl, at a game, at a PlayStation. It doesn't even matter. Doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. I could beat Abigail in a cross country race right now, barefoot. I know what? I'll wear Crocs.
What do you think? What do you think? You ready? We're going right now. 10 minutes. Go get dressed.
Go right now. 10 minutes. Crocs. Let's go. All right. Well,
Beverly
thank
Park.
you Beverly Park is crazy. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching the PR Project episode 92. We are getting closer and closer to 100. Me, Gary, Aaron will be talking about this idea that Aaron has that's supposed to be a little interactive. I think Steve. What?
My idea.
What? I thought whose idea? Who did I say?
Aaron.
Oh, whatever. I don't care whose idea it is or whatever. Apparently. Mark asked, "Can we win stuff?" We don't know. We got to figure out what Gary's talking about. But thank you so much for watching the show. Tap in. Episodes are live on all podcast platforms that you listen to your podcast platforms on, or listen to your podcast on. If you are listening to this on a podcast platform and you want to be part of the conversation, like some of these really cool people that always show up in our chat, pull up every Sunday, 8 p.m. We are here live. Thank you so much for listening. Subscribe on YouTube, subscribe on podcast platforms. You have anything to say, Gary?
No, thanks again. Congratulations to everybody on their awesome PRs this past couple weekends. Really proud of you, and looking forward to see what happens this fall, spring.
Thanks, Dad. Peace out.